Good morning. So our mini heat wave is over for the time being, hence the hat again. But we have lost the fence. So yeah, fence is out of the way, as you can see, and I will show you what the plan is now the fence is gone, because it has changed a little bit. Once we took the fence out, we realised actually we could do something a little bit different here. Not much different, but I'll go through it and show you what we're going to do next and what the next bits and pieces I need to do to get a station put right there. Let's have a look. So you'll notice some new posts in, but these are not in line with the old ones. So we said before, gate was staying, which means that post needs to stay, which means we're going to have a little dog leg in that corner. So that post was where we said it was going to be. This one, however, is not, because you probably just can't see it on the ground, but around here was the old post position, because there was 3 panels across here. We're actually changing it, and we're going to change it to different, well in fact we're not even putting panels in, but these are 6-foot gaps now, because we're going to put rails across. We're going horizontal rails, which is a bit different to what you would normally do, but we think it would work better with the station where it's going, and especially at this end where the track disappears up. So at this end you can see this post is the one that we've put in. The other one, the old one, is still in position here because it's actually used for this fence that's running along this side of our garden. So that one has to stay, and we're going to put one just fixed onto the fence down there, which will be in line with these ones. So it's a little bit difficult to see currently because I've got everything stood up, but there'll be another one where I've just got my temporary bit of stick here for my line at that end. What you can now see, hopefully, if I can edge my way into this corner, is the sort of gap we're going through. So it's a little bit difficult because there's that much bits of wood around here, but this post here is the one that's staying, and obviously this one. So this is our gap where 2 tracks are going to go up, and they're going up behind this tree, behind this one, and then what we're going to do quite at the front with the Lilundi that we've got up there, not quite sure, we might go this side of it, one track this side, the other track that side, but we'll see when we get that far. And you'll see some of the posts and things that we're planning on using for this section, which will all be in wood just down here. Yeah, there. So this gives you an idea of the width. So this peg's pretty much where the back wall is going to be of the station area, and run basically along, try and get my finger in the right place, to the backs of these. Now it's rained last night, but you might just better make out some marks down here. So one set there and one set just here. And what that is, if I come back a little bit, is this area here is going to all be walled up. That area there is going to be walled up, but we're just going to put a wall along the back in the middle, and then just as we did down at the other end of the garden where we used lintels to form a little area to put your boxes and things, we're going to do the same here. There's going to be lintels across, quite a few more of them here, and a bit longer as well. That means we need something on the ground underneath, so the plan is to put some flags, 3 flags in, and actually due to the measurements, what we're probably then going to do is just lay a course of bricks all the way around, like a little border around it, just to fill that gap, rather than narrow up the gap. We can't go much wider without going to really special lintels, so we're using 1.8 metre lintels with 100mm each end to sit on, because officially they'll probably want more, but we're only supporting track and your loco, we're not supporting a second floor of the building, so yeah, that's the plan for there. The difficult bit now is this station here has to be level, or I want it level, which makes steaming up a lot easier. So we've got to get this level. The bricks at the front obviously have to be the right height to get to that level, and there's block at the back, although this bit's probably going to be in brick where you see it. So all this has to be, the foundation has to be the right height to get us up to the bricks, just as we did with the rest of the line. However, when we get into the corner here, this section down here, which needs to be walled, is on a slope, because we're sloping up from where this sleeper will be cut here, all the way up, and actually to this post here, where it will then be level for coming around into the station, but the actual track heading up the garden will actually carry on its slope up there. Now this track at the back here is going to be running on the concrete wall at the back. Down the back here. This concrete wall we want to wall level, because obviously you wall your walls level to make all your joints and everything like that line up and be correct. So we're going to have to cast on top of this the slope that the track will run on, which means this wall has to be lower than that station, otherwise when you come onto here your track can't go down into the wall, we'd have to cut it. So this concrete wall here has to be lower than this station one. So what I'm hoping to do is wall this, say, as 2 concrete blocks and a brick on top, which means when we get round here we can take that brick off to get the height down to where we need it. But I need to do a load of measuring, working out, laser lining and everything to confirm what level the foundation needs to be on this section, and ideally, if I can, this section as well. And then that means I can actually start digging for the foundation here and we can put it in. So I've got to do lots of maths and levelling and everything, and then I will let you know what the result is. So, after much deliberating on how to do this, I have a plan. So using my handy dandy cheat sheet that we've used in the past, we are looking at 2 blocks and 2 bricks plus the foundation. That will get us from basically this level here where the brick starts up to where the station is up at the screws. So I have put screws in on the other 2 posts, checked all the way across, and we can get it. It is just a few millimeters out, but we can get over that, that's fine. And also I want this to slope up anyway, so it's not going to matter at the back if we're not perfectly flat with the front. We can come up a little bit at the back if we want, but we'll keep it flat so that the courses are all in line and everything. So yeah, so that's done this section. What we do down here, I'm not 100% sure yet, because obviously we've got to have the bit at the bottom lower, because this whole patio area slopes down to this side, so the bottom has to be lower. But we'll sort that another day when I've got a bit better access to it. I know what I'm doing here now, so I can start to dig out my foundations here and all that bits and pieces. But of course it's raining once again. Let's do some terrible selfie cam footage here and show you what I've been doing down here. So this is going to be the area underneath the lintels that are across the top. So this is where you're going to be able to put your boxes and things underneath. And we have some flags that are not quite a match for the ones that are right down here, but should be, but are the same width, so close enough basically then I'm happy we can use those. I'm then going to put some bricks around the outside, you can see here, which basically just to fill it up, because of the distances and things we're using, a nice course of bricks all the way round down to that end should give us what we need in this area. So if it stays dry enough, I'm going to mix some cement up and get these in before I put the foundations in, because then I can bring my foundations up to the edge of them, because obviously the foundations are going to be level with the flags that are below. So let's see if they're worth the hole to me and I can get these down.
So I've come outside and discovered that Rob has been busy. We have one flag and some bricks laid, but judging by the tarpaulin, it started spitting on him. But I've also heard rustling in the bushes, and I suspect, aha, there is a wild Rob digging. Honest.
It's a bit tree behind there.
Yes. And you're adding more bits of wood.
Yes, because it keeps raining.
Yes.
So if I cement anything, it will come with a downpour, which is what it's been saying on the forecast for all afternoon, and so far has just sort of spit at me whenever I've thought about laying any more flags, just to put me off doing it. So I thought I'd put some more posts in instead.
Yeah, back on this side. We can sort of see where the track's going to go.
Yep. And in fact, I don't know whether you can make out if I move my level. I'll just take off this very handy bit of kit. I've got screw in where we're heading for, and then because I'm on my own at the minute, and it's quite difficult to get the laser line, because obviously it's not in self-leveling mode, because we are coming up 1 in 50 down here. So you've got to, you can set it and obviously twist it to get your angle. So I got one of my pegs, and this screw I knew was in the right position because we put this in ages ago. And basically I can fit my peg onto the screw, and because this is sort of a shiny green, the laser line shows up a lot easier, and I've marked on where the screw is, and then I can aim the laser line at that. Once I got that in, I could then put these. Now these are not at the right height. I don't know whether the laser line...
It does show.
Oh yeah. So actually then this needs to go down, because this should be below it, because that one's below it. I don't know why this one isn't, which is odd. But anyway, that one can be just knocked down a little bit. But I wanted these a little bit below, because I need to obviously get the bits of wood across here, which is then what the track sits onto. So yes, I might have to knock this one down a bit, or take this one back out now. I've just realised that that's too tall. Anyway, there you go. That one's obviously a bit lower, which is how it should be.
Can't see that one.
Yeah, that one.
There's one there.
It's got a little brace off. I might replace it for a bigger one, but it was just when I was setting it up to the fence here. And what I'm probably going to do is, I won't pull that out, but basically get one of these and run it down the fence side, so it's onto the actual fence posts, and then another one probably down this side of them, but we'll just use maybe short lengths or something, because I've not put these in a straight line. They're just wherever they'll avoid roots and things like that, and then your slats then will all go across between these two, which means these are what you sort of level it with. We don't have to level it on the posts.
Yeah.
Which is why I want the post a bit lower, so we don't run into the top of the post. But yeah, I'm just getting these in while I've got access from this side. But next post is probably going to go just behind me here, and then we're out to the front then, and we've got to decide then at the front whereabouts we're going, or if we're splitting the line here, or what we're doing. But these two are at least in the right position. So yeah, recycled posts from a Yorkshire member who very kindly offered some to us, because he'd removed his railway that was using them. So we're using them down this section and probably out the front as well. And then over the many years we hope to be here and run the line, we'll probably replace the ones at the front. These ones will probably stay
they sort of blend in down here, and I think they'll last. Certainly as long as the fence anyway. So there you go. That's what I've been doing.
Hidden away down the back of here.
Hidden away.
It's very difficult to film down the back of there. There's a tree in the way.
It's a bit difficult to get in and out of down there.
Mm.
But yeah, I was hoping to get all this down and done, because I'm doing this bit first so that I can put my concrete basically in around here where the walls are going to go, so I can concrete up to this. Whereas if I laid the concrete first, I'd have to then probably cut out the sides of it or shutter it or something to get these in, so I might as well get these in first, which is what I've done. But because it keeps threatening to rain,
It's
I haven't
spitting
done the
now.
rest. So that will have to be done another day. But anyway, that's the way it goes.
Cool.
So this, I haven't maybe talked about this scabby wall that's at the back, but this is the retaining wall for our land that's heading out in front, and obviously the shed sat on that. So this wall will stay, but obviously we're building another wall up here, so what we'll probably end up doing is just taking this top layer off that's been added. The ones below are walled a little bit better, or certainly are when you come to take them off. These ones I think have been added at a later date, so we'll probably take those off, fill in basically the ground up to our block wall here, to just neaten it all up so there isn't a silly gap down the back. But leaving that in will mean that all the weight that this is retaining, not that it's retaining a lot at that height, but it's not pushing directly on this one. There's sort of two walls packed in, it's not going to go anywhere, because this is all on a big foundation, which is what you can see here. So yeah, so that's why that's like it is. It just doesn't run parallel to the path or the garage. I think it's parallel to the drive at the front, possibly, but there you go. So anyway, I will carry on until I get rained off.
Cool. Well, welcome to a sunny Thursday evening in July. We're in July now, and we'll show you what we've been doing, or well,
Yes.
what Rob's been doing.
Hopefully not too much wind noise now. It should have died down a bit. It's just been absolutely blowing a gale throughout today when I've been doing this.
Didn't you say it was like up to 50 mile an hour?
Yes, yes. It was sort of rain on you 1 second, blow you away the next, burn you after that. So I've had everything today. No snow, thankfully.
No.
I have been doing this walling
Yes.
for the station area.
You may have to go down.
May have to go down the
Yes,
lower
thank
station
you.
area.
There we go.
So we're putting in another one of the alcove bits like we did over there. This one's flush with the ground, which is why we've got it on flags and things, and so we're walling up. So so that's why it's dipping in each side. So these sections here will be filled up with rubble and concreted on top. Same with this one behind us here, and then as it goes round the corner we might decide then basically down this side where it transitions into soil, down this bit, depending where the track is, but this bit certainly will all be filled with rubble. So again, we'll fill it, rubble at the base, obviously not the concrete blocks that sat in here, but just rubbly bits that we've got plenty of at the back there. Fill it up. There'll be some wall ties that are to go in as well.
Yeah, they're over here.
So yeah.
That's my contribution to this evening's work.
Yes, so harking back to well over a year now,
Probably.
when we did the wall down the big station end.
Oh, I've cut your hair off.
We made some wall ties that because obviously you can't buy wall ties that go this distance, so we make them just out of fencing wire, and that will tie your front and back walls together. So we haven't used any so far yet. We'll probably use them on this next layer. There's not going to be a lot really to retain here, but it's just belt and braces, and then it hopefully won't sink in the middle, especially if we pack the rubble and things in it as well. So this wall at the back here, these top ones will come off like I mentioned before, and will fill in. So there will be pressure on the bottom of this wall, but not on the top, which is why I'm thinking at this point here I just want to stop the front wall going anywhere. As we come up, we might put another one in, we'll see. It's probably once it's got the concrete layer, and I don't think we'll need another one. But it's basically just to tie it all together at the top. So that's what those are. What you'll see those in the wall in a future video.
I think last bit of footage we had of this was only like one flag in and
yes,
some bricks.
So it has come along in a few days of work. That's what happens when you just get a bit of a spurt on, and weather hasn't been great today, but it's been okay enough that you can actually consistently put a mix on and finish it rather than get rained off. So yeah, so extra flags in, obviously foundation round it, which is what we're putting the walls onto. So we're bricking up at the back first, so that we're not having to trip over the front. But as you'll see, as you come up at the back, you step it up as you do your courses. So now we're basically at the stage where we're going to have to start walling the front as well, and just reach over that.
Yes, we've realised we've got a gap.
Yes,
We're going to have to come up with something.
There's numerous things we're lining up to with this wall. So obviously we've got the fence posts that we put in to start with that we're lining up with at the back. We've got the flags at the front we're lining up with, so those should be parallel, so that makes it a bit easier. But when I put the flags in, I wanted the flags to line up with these flags, which are obviously not a division of bricks, which means when you then come to put the walls in, you end up with odd gaps like that. So there's going to be a little bit of work trying to make this gap looking right.
Don't we?
Coming up, yeah, which is going to be.
Because thankfully it's the same at the other side.
At the back,
so.
At the back we're just putting odd bits in and things and trying to not get straight joints, which we're a bit close there, but that's the kind of theory at the back. I'm not so worried about the back because it's not as visible as the front. The front's got to look nice. But yeah, that's what we're doing there. This bit obviously across the back of here is pretty visible if you sat across the far side. As we get further up, it'll be hidden by the lintels and things, but we're trying to make a good finish of that. And then, yeah, we basically progress. We haven't got right into this corner yet, so again, we're stepping it up here, which is why we've got that bit. And then we've got a little special feature that we'll go into a little bit later going on here once I've managed to get it up a little bit, and you'll hopefully see what all that's about. But coming up, once again, just to remind you, to the screws up here is our finished level. So to make sure that our courses are coming up right, we basically are measuring off where we put the laser line out, but also these screws down to make sure we're coming up in the right steps of bricks to line up with there. So yeah, so we'll be able to do a little bit more on this, but really we've got to get the foundation down this side.
Yes, down the back of here.
Yes. And this side is causing me a bit of a problem.
Ooh, okay. I'll have to go this way. The sun is...
We'll rotate round.
Your head was the sun.
So, this foundation here obviously can be level because this station's been level, and we're coming up to a fixed point in the track here, so you just need to know how many bricks to get up to that point. That's how you do all your foundation there. As we come down this section, we've got a number of factors at play. One is that the flags that we're coming off are sloping down to that side. So you can't start your foundation the same level as this all the way down, because you'd see the foundation, you want to see the face of the bricks. So it's going to be lower at that end than this end, so we've got to step it down for that. We also have to factor in that we are putting the sleepers here stood upright. So we're looking at this measurement right here for height, which is around 240, 250, something around that.
Just more than a block.
Yeah. Exactly. So, however you do it, this isn't going to want to line up with the top of the bricks at this end, because I'm putting two of these and then I'm having some bricks underneath, because I don't want the flags to come up to the bottom of this. I want the bricks. There's a number of numbers going on.
Headache. Yeah, it's...
Which mean, and then added to all that is the track sloping up as well. So the top of the concrete wall doesn't want to be level. Now we're going to wall it level, but we want to lay the track on it unlevel. So I did talk about casting on top. We might actually cut the blocks. We're not 100% sure yet, but that's why this bit hasn't yet been done for foundations, because I need to know exactly the height I'm doing foundations. I have also added another factor into all this, which is that the bricks we're using for this section that you can, or bits you can see, of what we've used in the past, and we have a number of these left, but not enough that we can use them willy-nilly. So I have a number of other sources of bricks. There's a little pile there.
There's these ones here.
And I've got some other ones at the front as well that are just come out of different places and things. These ones here,
These are, yes, different.
our old chimney, are quite a bit bigger. So if I use these up to do, because I've got to do 2 courses of bricks at the bottom of the concrete wall there to get 2 bricks, 2 blocks to get to the height I want, otherwise I'm digging my foundation further down to get 3 blocks. If I use these bricks, I've got to then dig either foundation a bit lower or bring it slightly up and use 1 brick. But I've got another different measurement there to try and factor in.
We're going to have to redo those numbers, aren't we?
We're going to have to do a few calculations, I think, because if I can use these up in that section there and keep some of these,
Yeah, we want
I
to
might
keep
need
the
them for
nice
this,
bricks,
and I'd rather have these left over because they match the railway, and then I can do additions and bits and pieces if I need to, or repairs. So yes, a number of evenings mass calculations,
yeah.
I think, and staring at a tape measure to get this bit done, but that will then mean we can keep heading around that corner. I've given the water bottle. But yeah, that's it for this evening, because it's sun setting and I'm knackered.
And it's 8:30 at night anyway, so
Yeah. So
good excuse.
let's put things away and head inside. Morning! Come over here and have a look what we've done yesterday. Oh. We've got foundations in down this side. So took quite a lot of calculating, as you mentioned, to get the levels, which are what were all chalked onto the fence here, so I knew where I was going to. There's a few varying little bits on this bit because, as mentioned, we're trying to use those bricks up to a different height. So that's why the foundations are a bit all over the place. But fingers crossed, our maths works out, and we can now start walling from here up to our track level. Well, actually, we'll wall to this point, but as we get down here, we'll actually be just above it, because the track is coming down to this end, so we're going to cut the top of the blocks is our thinking here. So we'll wall the blocks higher, string line it and cut them off. That's the plan. So probably next thing to do is to put some blocks or bricks at that end, some at this end, and then we can string line across. Which leads us to this area, because since you last saw it, we've got a few more courses down here. So we're now at the point where I need to start really bringing the front up more to get the back. But as we've got the foundation in down there, we're probably going to concentrate on getting some down that section, so that as we bring all the levels up, we can bring them up all the way around and we can sort the corner, because we're going to start running into corner issues. So that's the aim today, is to do that bit down there, and so it's going to be a few bricks, then onto blocks. So blocks should go a lot quicker than having to wall just in bricks on here. So there you go, I shall get on with it. One back wall. Well, obviously not complete. There's quite a few more blocks to go on yet, but
It's a bit of a hole.
yeah. But don't know how many mixes have we done. 2, 3,
Ooh, 4, I think.
4? 4?
Yeah.
Oh heck. No wonder I'm knackered. And yeah, so as we talked about, a few bricks at this end using up that pile that doesn't seem to have reduced that much.
No.
But anyway, get those in there. These ones are all sort of curving towards obviously coming down onto the station, so that's what they're there for. So when I put the front one in, I'll then tie them in and bits and pieces. Well, the front one, I don't want to tie these in because obviously I'd have to then have a cut edge at the front. So what's probably going to happen is I will put one there like that and put like a wall tie or something just to tie these two together as we'll make use of it. But yeah, that's to support the track there. So yeah, it's basically just continuing with the concrete blocks now. Up, obviously I've got to do a little bit more work in this corner, which is probably going to actually be next before I'll wall myself a challenge to fit in.
You'd have to be walling from the far side if you're not careful.
So I've got to do this bit in here to bring it up to this level probably next. And at the same time I might do a little bit on the front here as well, might do a bit here. But yeah, that's kind of the idea of it. So comes down, and then when you get down to this end, another strategic hole through.
I'll see if I can show that.
Which we'll see if anybody
somebody put a wheelbarrow in the way.
guesses what those are for. And then we're coming round this corner, so we haven't come too far this way because this is going to be a stone column at this side, so I'm not sure what stone I'm using yet as to what distance it comes back. But I'm also stood on this bit of concrete heading round here, which is again the track, so that's why this one's stuck out like this, so that I can tie there'll be one down here, next one stood up on top of this, and the next one's probably going to tie up into here, so that it's all tied together, and that's the track heading that way. Although the top one I'm going to leave off because that's probably going to be stone or something. But anyway, that gives you an idea of what we're doing there. So yeah. Anyway, I am now knackered and starving, so it's time to go inside, have tea, and a little bit of a sleep probably. See you later. Good afternoon. Today is going to be an interesting day. As you can see, we have the concrete block wall up to its final height. So we did this a number of days ago, so it's had a number of days to set and be happy. A few bricks on in the corner, but mainly getting this all the way down. So now is the tricky task of cutting the slope on the top of this. So what I've done is I've attached a piece of wood to the wall, which is at the right angle, but it's gapped off the top. So in theory, when we use the big stone saw to cut, the drive side of it will sit on the piece of wood and we'll cut. Now we're not going to cut from this end, we're going to cut from that end obviously up, but that should give us that angle. I'm going to have to try and make sure I keep it level up as well. I'm not 100% sure I'm going to do that. There might have to be a bit of leveling on top of this wall and grinding and things to get it right, but that is the theory. So we're going to cut from this end all the way up, and that will give us the slope that we need. I have then marked out, you can just about see it on here, or I can, this block. I'm going to cut this block first to give me somewhere to start from, because when I bring my wall round anyway I'm going to want this lower, and this is probably going to have stone on it, so I'm going to cut this well below and then I can sort that out later, but it means I can get onto this slope a lot easier rather than cutting in straight from the surface and then having to adjust angles to go up the slope. So I've wet the wall already to try and keep dust down, and obviously we'll use the water on this, which means we're going to get probably soaking as well.
Yeah, we're going to be quite
It's still
messy.
covered in dust,
Yeah.
but we will try our best to not cover all of our neighbours in dust and get this cut. Let's do it.
Yeah.
been quite damp on one leg. The other one's not too bad actually, it's just one leg. That went pretty smoothly, I would say. We had a few problems at the top, which was to be expected because obviously it wants to just skim this top section, which the saw doesn't want to particularly do. And we are a little bit uneven as we go down that way, but that's fine. It's pretty hard to level the saw, especially when nothing on the saw is 90, or is rather parallel to the blade, or even 90 degrees to the blade. So getting anything to sort of give you a reference point for level on that blade was going to be tricky. But running up this seemed to work pretty well. I actually expected it to grab on it, but because there was so much water about it, slid up it, which was really nice. So yeah, there's a few bits up and down in this direction as well, which you can sort of just see about there, but other than that, we're pretty good. I'm going to have to obviously put some of the tile adhesive stuff down anyway, and I need to cast a little bit on the front once all this is built up to widen it, because we're going to come away from these posts, but that's all doable. All doable. We've got this section cut out in here, which was how we started off. We've checked our height there, we are correct, and that should mean we can come round this corner onto here, and we're relatively level on that bit. We might just only come up a little bit on the corner, which should ease when you're trying to pull up, so it'll be more of a pull up that section, more of a pull up this section, but it'll be easy in the middle where the corner is. But yeah, the plan here is, because this is going to be stone, I'll probably put a flag or something onto this anyway, so I might have to cut a bit more out yet. I'll see, but something in there that it will come onto, or work that out. So yeah, so I can unscrew this back off here now, and then I guess really it's walling, which now I've made it very wet, probably can't do today, but anyway, this has got
a bit of a puddle now.
Here's a little bit, yeah.
Mind you, if it stays as warm as it is right now, it might dry
yeah,
fairly quick.
It's pretty muggy, so how quick it'll dry we'll see.
Yeah,
but,
true.
Yeah, no, I'm pleased. I was dreading doing this, to be honest, thinking it would be very difficult to keep hold of it and get it to cut up straight, but actually it went fairly well. So yeah, pleased with that. Now we just get to do the front, then we fill in the soil, cast, track down, run down it, job done. Easy.
If only.
I've made these holes in the nice patio. Well, it's not that nice, but it's a patio. Because these are where the sleepers are going to stand up. So, like this, up against this side with a couple of bricks, and then the other two sleepers coming along. These are the ones that retain it. So they'll be cut around here somewhere. So I've made the holes here, one here, and one here. And the sleepers come a little bit past each side. I hope anyway, if my measurements are right. So plug those down, think I'm far enough, and the next job is to cut the sleepers behind the camera. Some sleepers. We've gone through and we've worked out which ones look best, which one's going to use for what. This is the roughest one, and this is one we're going to pick for doing the uprights, because you'd probably say, well, actually don't use the roughest one for the uprights because they're the ones holding it back, but we like the look of looking at these, and we don't actually need that much to hold these back. There's not that much soil behind there pushing them down, so this will be perfectly fine, and we can always change it if it rots away even more. So we have marked on here where we need to cut them with the chainsaw, and then I will then do a couple of just V's in it once I've done that, which will just aid with getting it down into the hole and positioned and things. So they are right length so that they'll go in the ground and then stick up above. So yeah, 1 metre is what we've come up with. One off each end, so these ends will be exposed at the top, and they'll be a little bit down from the top of the sleeper because I don't want them level with it, I want them a little bit down. So now I just need to fire up the chainsaw and cut on the line.
let's give that a go. I made a mess.
You have. At least it's pretty.
Yeah. Should have thought about how much mess it would make, really.
Wasn't really expecting it to be that red either.
No, it's definitely a redwood one, that one.
But then that sleeper was heavier than all the others and the most rotten, so I'm not quite sure what it was made of. Possibly redwood. It is red.
It's definitely, yeah.
It's definitely red in the middle.
It's got a way to go before that rots through.
Yeah.
So, I think we're going to be fine. So
now we just have to come up with a use for a, what, 600
yes.
mil long bit of sleeper.
Yes. Anyway, we'll find a home for that bit.
Oh, and
however,
little bits.
I have gained myself some lovely buffer stops. Look at that. Ah, you see?
They do actually work quite well as that. They're just the offcuts from
So
the
anyway,
making a point on the bottom of it.
We shall see if we find a home for them. But yes, we have sleepers in, although they've got to lift that back out again because I need to dig the holes a little bit deeper. But
Yeah, they're too high.
I kind of expected that, but I just wanted to get them cut and put in, and now I'll just dig them down till I've got the right height and start packing stuff around and get them level and down the back, because I need to wall down the back yet. But I wanted to get these in first so that I didn't knock my wall putting these in, and it meant I could keep my bricks tight up to them, and I don't know, it just made sense in my head, did that. But, yeah, that's in there, so I guess better tidy up really.
Yeah.
Has been a bit of a messy day today again. Hey ho.
You do that every now and again.
Yes, I do. But there are flags to go back in here.
Oh, yes,
we'll point that out.
They're here.
They are there. One is broken, but that was broken when already in there, so I can get around that. That's sort of where the sleeper's going anyway, so I'm not too worried about this piece missing. The other one's whole, so I'll just stone saw the bit out for that and relay it. I'll have to break all this bit up before I do, which might be the next job. But yeah, just need to dig these down a bit more, tidy up, and that'll probably do for today.
It's quite hot and muggy. That's not
Yes,
helping.
well, it's been raining the last few days, hence not done very much. Then it's been warm today, and then it's going to rain again tomorrow, which is why I didn't think I really wanted to do much walling, because I thought it's going to get all wet anyway tomorrow or overnight. So this has been a good job to get all this done, and you never know, all the water might just wash away all this mess. Probably won't. Anyway, clean up time, and I will see you next whenever and whatever I'm doing.
Well, that was messy.
My legs are very wet. So I've put some holes down here to start again.